So, welcome to another edition of Weather and Climate Chat with Dr. Michael Davis and Monsoon Mike. Dr. Davis, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me back.
It's been we've been not around for a couple of weeks, and we both had good reasons. I was sick with the flu. You were in
San Francisco.
San Francisco. We can talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
So, so it was, haven't really talked that much. So, when we look back at what happened in the, what's happening now compared to what happened the first half of the month, we're in heaven now considered to the first part of April, which really wasn't that nice. We had a solid couple of weeks of below average temperatures and even a couple minor snow events to deal with, which you predicted back in March. I said, is snow over? And you said, I wouldn't say for sure. And
I think we're done now.
I think we're finally done now. But, I got to say the first couple of weeks of April were not nice. A lot of cloudy days, a lot of cold days. What was setting up in early April?
We just had a lot of cold air being brought down, jet stream dipping down to the eastern U.S. You have a big trough bringing down that cold air, a little bit of moisture coming up from the Gulf. That gave us our pretty much shot of snow that we had last weekend. We were looking at, it's interesting too, because last weekend it was like 30 degrees and snowy.
Yep.
And now this weekend, sunny. We could be pushing upper 70s, perhaps even 80 by Monday.
That's fantastic. So, typical April. I mean, from one extreme to the other. The fact that I got sick and the entire family got sick, and this might be a little bit past your realm of expertise, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. You always hear people say, this is perfect weather to get sick. We go from 30 to 80. We got snow to heat. Is there any truth to that, have you heard? Can you?
I haven't seen too much in the way of scientific literature on that, but my own opinion on that is you are having these shocks to your system.
Sure.
Of cold and warm, cold, warm. So perhaps
weaken your immune system, perhaps. Yeah. Okay.
But I can't say for certain.
Sure. We would have to get a doctor on here as a guest, I guess, sometime.
A medical doctor.
A medical. That's true. True. You are a doctor. Okay. So, well, there you go. Well, let's put the first half of April behind us. It was a not a very nice one. Second half of April is off to a stellar start, and it looks like no end in sight to this really nice weather. What's this omega block I'm hearing about?
Yeah, right now we're experiencing an omega block.
Okay.
It's similar to the Greek letter omega, that upside down U, kind of horseshoe kind of appearance, where you typically have a high pressure system in the middle of it. You can kind of think of under the top part of the omega block.
Right.
And you have two low pressures on the sides. So right now we have a very strong high pressure system sitting over the Great Lakes, upper Midwest, Great Plains, that area. And we have a low pressure sitting off the East Coast. And we have a low pressure pretty much over the mountainous west area, so like Utah, Colorado, that area. And this high pressure is just so strong that the jet stream is not pushing it. It's essentially acting like a stone in the stream, and the water's just going right around it. And it's called a blocking pattern because the high pressure is not moving, and the jet stream is forced to go around it. So just like how the stone in the stream doesn't move, this high's not going to move for several days.
Nice.
And if you're caught under the high pressure system, like where we are right now, you'll be experiencing several days of clear, sunny, warm weather, typically. As opposed to, say, if you're in like the mountainous west, say like Denver, Salt Lake City right now, where you have that low pressure, it's going to be several days of pretty crummy weather and rain, potentially snow, cold.
Right.
But we lucked out.
So they're having what we had a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
Okay. Well, too bad to be them. Stinks to be them, but we deserve this after the first part of April. Now, we are going to see an uptick in temperatures as well. The past couple mornings still have been kind of chilly, and I've heard some people complaining because down toward Philly where growing season is more active. There's been some freeze warnings going up at night I've seen. So it's still been pretty darn chilly in the morning, but it looks like a general uptick in temperatures over the next couple days.
Yes.
Yeah.
As we start to get more of the high sun angle starting to impact us, giving us warmer temperatures. And conversely, with more energy coming in, you have lower temperatures that won't get quite so cold at night, bringing about the frost or the freeze warnings that we've had past couple of nights.
Now, this is a pretty monotonous pattern, but a good monotonous pattern because we don't really see anything changing The only thing I saw potentially on the models yesterday was there's going to be a weak cool front that comes through late Monday, and some models had like a very light sprinkle shower, but now it looks like the thing passes through dry. And does that have to do with the Omega block that the front just washes out pretty much?
The Omega block starts to look like it's breaking down about Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
So that would potentially allow for a sprinkle or a little shower along the way, but nothing major.
Okay.
In the forecast. It's a very minor threat. We still have the high pretty much holding on while it might be moving,
Right.
and not so much in a blocking pattern. It's still going to be affecting us because it's to our west.
Right. Now, is this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of great weather going to equate to the block moving and us getting into 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bad days later this month? Is that possible?
It could, but the models that I saw at
Okay.
least today weren't really showing that.
Good.
I think
Okay.
it's going to be more of a washed out pattern, and then once you get the block out of the way, things will start moving again.
Okay.
And then that low pressure may come through maybe late next week, and
Okay.
then move out of
Okay.
the area. So.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, hey, we can't beat a dead horse here. I mean, we can keep talking about the great weather, but that's really all it's going to be. It's going to be great weather over the next couple of days, so enjoy it.
I often joke at my meteorology
Yeah.
class that if it's sunny and clear outside, meteorologists have their days ruined
Yeah.
because there's nothing going on in the atmosphere. It's pretty boring.
This is sort of like being a weatherman or weather lady in San Francisco.
Yes.
Right? And that's a very cheesy segue because you just were in San Francisco. Do you want to talk about why you were there?
The Association of American Geographers Conference was taking place in San Francisco just 2 weeks ago. It's the
Okay.
premier geographical professional organization.
Okay.
And their annual meeting, you had thousands of people come from all over the world to present their own research and to network with people. I brought 3 students from Kutztown that
Nice.
gave poster presentations that were very well received from the geography department.
Good.
So that worked out well. I gave my presentation the last session of the conference, I should say.
Right.
And I was amazed at the turnout. I had about 20 people. It was
Nice.
great. And I heard a lot of good talks, a lot about physical geography, a lot about meteorology and climatology, and the whole breadth pretty much of geography as well. Like there was geography of, say, human sides, about what's going on with cultural significance from one area to another, how maybe politics are getting involved from more of a political standpoint. You could look more at an economic standpoint with what one city essentially could be doing, essentially generating revenue, may not necessarily work for another area, or planning in terms of how cities are laid out, or say sustainability, environment, or rural planning, for example. See what you'd be doing with sustainable farming, or how you can plan the farm area to be most productive
Nice.
by looking at soil types, climate, and so forth. It's a very fascinating conference, and next year it's in Boston.
Okay.
I'm hoping to have several more students come with me.
So it's in a different city every year?
Yes, it does
Okay.
tour. The year before San Francisco, it was in Chicago.
Okay.
And the year before that was Tampa.
That's cool.
And then Los Angeles.
So they're covering all the points. Very nice.
And next year it's Boston. The year after that, it's New Orleans. And
Oh,
then
wow.
the year after that, it's Washington, D.C.
Fantastic. All very cool cities. So you get to do a little sightseeing while you're out there as well, too?
The only thing I saw out in San Francisco is the Golden Gate Bridge.
Okay. So you were too busy otherwise.
Yeah, but we did walk across it. So that was eventful. You had a lot of wind going through there.
I'm sure.
And you really had to hold on to your hat.
Yeah.
Got to see the big ships going in.
How was the weather there this time of year? Pretty nice? Like
Yeah,
what we're having now?
We had sunny conditions most of the
Yeah.
week. It was a little foggy early in the morning, but
Right.
that's to be expected with San
That's
Francisco.
normal. Yeah.
Temperatures were probably right about par where we are now. I'd
Okay.
probably say we were looking at mid-60s.
So just nice weather.
Yes.
Good stuff. All right, well, we'll see what the weather holds for you for Boston next year.
Yeah. Boston, I think it's early April.
Right.
Might be a little,
That could be a little hairy.
Cool.
You never know.
hopefully no snow.
Yeah, if it's anything like this year, you never know. One other topic, and we didn't even discuss this off the air. I just happened to think about it as we were talking, so I'm just going to throw it out there now. We were talking a lot about forecasting and stuff like that. What's all the hype and excitement about the National Weather Service no longer using capital letters in their discussions?
Back in the early times of National Weather Service, you had a lot in terms of the teletype pretty much and how that typing was pretty much all capitalized. Now with more computer-generated products and the sophistication perhaps of texting with all capitals to represent yelling, people
Right.
thought that yelling was not really the way to go,
Right.
perhaps. So then you started to say, let's just go with capitalized letters and lowercase letters, like how you would just simply write a paper or
Right.
other sort of letter.
So that's so they're just trying to adapt with the times and being a little less.
Correct. And May 11th is when they switch all their products, their forecast discussions, their warnings, advisories. All those products will be in the standardized text that you and I see usually when we get like a letter in the mail.
Now, what about if for something potentially catastrophic, like a tornado warning or a hurricane warning? Is there going to keep capitals for that, or you don't know?
I would imagine that they would say,
Yeah.
if it's emergency, they would bold it or
something.
capitalize
Okay.
that tornado warning or
Right.
something along those lines.
Okay. I just found that interesting because it got a lot of press among the geeks like us this week.
And if
so.
you were listening to NPR yesterday, they
Yeah.
were talking about AccuWeather releasing their 90-day forecast.
I saw something about that. Yeah, it used to be the 45-day, but now the 90-day forecast.
Where they can predict weather 90 days out.
I don't
which
know
is
about that.
Completely bogus, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You have too much variability from
Right.
now until whatever 3 months would be.
Yeah.
July.
I saw, I saw that because I usually like looking at the 45-day forecast just to get a general idea of what they're saying for temperatures and stuff. And I was wondering why the other day when I was going through the 45 days that it was taking me into June and July. I'm like, what? And then I did some research. I'm like, 90 day. So where is this 90-day? Is this just basically the GFS model that it's being pulled off of, or is it one of their own models that's generating this? I mean, there's got to be some kind of formula that they're basing 90 days off of.
They're basing it off of long range forecasts, but there's just so much noise that's going to be generated after several days running the model that I could say it could snow in July, and chances are it could, but
it just
it's
seems
probably not going to. But if the model says it, who knows?
You know, it'd be fun for an experiment. I just might do this myself and just like run off the chart for June or whatever right now on April 14th, and then when it actually hits, keep a log and see how close it was.
Yes, let's do that, and let's come back in June when we're doing this, and we'll compare what's going on.
Because they've got it exactly, highs and lows, like June 21st, it's going to be sunny with a high of 89 degrees. It's like, I don't know. I mean, no disrespect to AccuWeather. I like them a lot, but
AccuWeather's a good company.
I think it's a little irresponsible to do that because then people are going to be looking at that and saying, oh, there's my wedding day, and it's going to be partly sunny, and that's great, and then it rains, and oh, everything's ruined. So
like me, for example.
There you go. What's the AccuWeather 90-day forecast saying for your wedding?
I have not had a chance to
look at it. We'll have to take a look at it off the air. All right. Well, Dr. Michael Davis, we discussed a lot of fun things there. We got a great weather pattern coming up the next few days. We talked about your trip to San Francisco, and we talked about the National Weather Service no longer yelling at us. So
and it looks like great weather tomorrow for the inauguration of President Hawkinson.
That's right. Should be a very nice day. One thing that they were a little bit concerned about when I talked to my boss is winds because they're going to be tense outside, but winds don't look like a factor tomorrow.
Not terribly.
Okay.
With high pressures, you typically don't get a lot in the way of strong winds.
So what are you thinking, like 5-10 miles an hour tops? Okay.
I don't expect any like blustery winds or anything.
We have had a lot of wind this month. We had that one.
Yes.
Yeah, we had that one. We forgot to talk about that. We had that one high wind warning a couple of weeks ago when I think some Hershey recorded a 70-mile-an-hour gust, I believe.
That was when we were returning from San Francisco.
So you just got back as that was happening. Yeah.
There was no delay on my flight from Philadelphia.
Yeah, that was an interesting night. That was definitely an interesting night. I remember being kept up because I was in the middle of my sickness, so I was waking up every couple of hours coughing and whatever, and then the wind was blowing outside, so that was pretty much a sleepless night for me.
And then on the way back, we flew from Philadelphia to Allentown in a propeller plane.
Oh, okay.
And we were bouncing around that plane like no other.
That's a little scary.
I was trying to keep my breakfast down.
Surprised they even flew it in that weather. Wow. All right. Well, thanks so much, Dr. Davis, and hopefully we'll get back to our regular Monday pattern next week.
Yes.
All right. See you then.